Afternoon, everyone. Oliver from the Whisky List here today to welcome you to the inaugural Australian Whisky Show 2022. We are celebrating 30 years of modern Australian distilling. It's just gone absolutely gangbusters, completely sold out show. Over 400 people here today. There's 100 different whiskies plus to try, a pop-up bottle shop, pop-up bar as well. Let's go try some whiskies. Follow me, guys. All right, we're here with Manly Spirits, Coastal Stone. Dean, tell us a little bit about you.
So I'm the brand ambassador for Manly Spirits, and of course Coastal Stone Whisky, which we're showing today. All put in cask in 2017. So when the company started, it's aged just under 5 years. What we're tasting and highlighting today is all the first whiskies that we ever made. So some of this is batch ones, batch twos, a few different types here to try today, and 2 different cask expressions as well. My favorite out of these 2 is probably the bourbon cask. The sherry cask is arguably the most popular, but everyone says you can't hide behind a bourbon cask, right? It's really highlighting our new make spirit well. And as a whiskey distillery, we are very much kind of on the basis of our new make spirit. As you'll know, Dave is an ex-chemical engineer. So our new make spirit's super light, super refined. He designed the stills himself to be the way that we want them to be. So that bourbon cask, you get a lot of the sort of green apple flavors from our new make, as well as sort of your classic bourbon cask flavors, your vanilla and your oak, but really smooth, really subtle flavors. And then our sherry cask, a little bit different. Sherry cask, big punch in the face of those big sherry flavors.
I love a big punch in the face, sherry.
Yeah, you do? Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, the sherry cask, big hit of raisins, sultanas, really, really sweet to begin with, really viscous, coats your mouth massively, lots of sweet flavors, and then a little bit of spice on the way out.
Amazing. Can you do one more favor for me? Yeah. Hold up your amazing bottle design. I know Vanessa will be upset if we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Can we zoom in for the camera?
Zoomies. Ness does all of our design, packaging, marketing, and sort of just brand stuff. She's ecstatic that World Whisky Awards best bottle in the world. When you put this much effort into it, you gotta win something, right? So the lid, the stopper, is actually made of Sydney sandstone, and our water runs through Sydney sandstone when we add water to it before bottling. So I've never seen anyone put that much effort into the lid or stopper.
It's amazing.
It's just a cool point of difference, right? And then the side is all molded to be like, represent the Sydney sandstone cliffs. So we tried to keep it nice and ocean relevant, kind of representing where it's all made and where it comes from. So
amazing. Thank you again, mate. Lovely to see you, and we'll see you around. So I'm here with New South Wales distiller, Mr. Craftyfield himself, representing Craftworks Distillery. Mate, welcome to the Whisky Show. What do you think of today? How's it going?
It's a moment in history. That's what it is. This is a moment in history. Congrats, really, really congrats. This is an awesome thing. It's great for Australian whiskey, and who would think?
And what are you pouring today? What's the highlights on the distillery?
IM2 is our signature. This is our follow-up to IM1, which won us the bronze medal in London Spirits and a silver in Tokyo Spirits, which is pretty cool for a little wee shed in the middle of nowhere.
Congrats, mate.
Thanks, mate. So IM2, really complex new make. So if you think of like a stout beer, that's where we started with our recipes, to build complexity straight off the base spirit. This one is a very limited release. This one is Time and Wages Bumblebee. So this one is a single cask strength. It's a PX sherry cask that's been seasoned with honey. So pretty awesome, mate.
Seasoned with honey, mate. What gave you the idea?
I found the cask. It was a one-off special cask that we managed to get our hands on. It's pretty rare. To the point, yeah, with the result we've got on this, we've now actually put honey into some casks in the shed, because yeah, it's a very interesting one.
I can let you know the up ratings, rating quite high. I've seen this 5 or 6 sell at the bottle shop already, and it's early days, so it's...
Oh, that's good. That's good. Thank you. Keep it coming.
Congrats
Thanks
again,
for the
mate.
support.
Thanks for coming today.
Thanks, mate. We'll see you around.
I'm here with Sasha, representing Mac Roberts today. Tell us a little about the distillery, mate.
Yeah, so McRoberts, a new distillery. They've only opened up in the last few years in Perth, in Western Australia, and they do a lot of single grain and a little bit of malt whiskey as well. And I believe it's their first time being represented at a show, so this is pretty much their launch.
Well, WA's been locked out of the world for a long time. It's great to see them back at events, and what a whiskey. Amazing colour. Great to see you guys. Thanks for your time, mate.
No worries, thank you. Have a great day.
So I'm here with David from 5 Nines Distillery. They're based out in Adelaide. Welcome, David.
Yeah, thanks, Ollie. It's good to be here.
Tell us what's on board today, mate.
Well, we've got 4 whiskies here. I'll just talk about 2 of them because they're probably the most interesting ones. So there's a brand new release called our Hills Cask, all distilled up in our Adelaide Hills distillery. So the Hills Cask is a blend of bourbon cask, Apera cask, and the Apera cask we seasoned ourselves with local Apera from South Australia. And then it's got a really interesting cask blended in there, which is an altar wine cask from up in Clare Valley. So altar wine, similar to port, that's used in the Catholic Church. So yeah, quite a really interesting blend. And then the other one that we have here is our altar wine cask released at cask strength. So yeah.
Sounds interesting. Can I sneak a little bit of the cask strength, please?
So it's at 64% and all altar wine. So there's probably only about 12 bottles in existence left, and I think you've got 6 of them here today. So big bold whiskey, but yeah, some really delicious flavours coming out of the altar wine.
I was expecting punch in the face, but it's
surprisingly gentle.
it's elegant and it's got layers and complexity. So well done, mate. It's a fantastic whiskey, mate. And welcome to the show. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks, Ollie. Great to be here. It's fantastic to just see so many great Australian distilleries here. So yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
All right, we're here with Backwoods, rural northern Victoria. Welcome, mate. Tell us a little bit about you guys.
Hey, Ollie. My name's Justin. So Backwoods been going for 5 years, since 2017. Look, we're here to show off like 1, our tawny cask, 2, our rye whiskey, and then we've got 2 under the table whiskies. 1 is our famous red gum whiskey. So the second batch of that's coming out on the 14th of April, so make sure you're jumping online on that. And then we've also got our white oak cask as well, November for that one. So yeah, enjoying like getting some feedback from the punters. That's been really good.
Yeah, great to hear. And that red gum cask, man, that last time sold out so quickly, so imagine it's going to go gangbusters again, right?
Absolutely. Look, dare I say it, the second one is even better than the first, so get on quick.
Wow, I'd love to try it a bit later, mate. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Ollie.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
All right, we're here with Gospel Whiskey. Andrew, tell us a little bit about Gospel today.
Well, the Gospel is a rye whiskey distillery based in Brunswick, making 100% Aussie rye.
Awesome. And what are people enjoying today?
Look, a lot of people enjoying Splendor rye, and we also brought along one of our limited release single casks, which people seem to be gravitating towards. So, been good.
Amazing, mate. Thanks for your time and enjoy the show.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you.
All right, I'm here with Ryan from Bakery Hill, Victorian Distillery. Ryan, welcome, mate.
Thank you very much.
And tell us a little bit about Bakery Hill today, mate.
absolutely. Baker Hill, founded in 1999. Just about to move to a new site in Kensington in the next 2 months or so. We believe in straight single malts, right on par with the best you can get from Scotland, and you can trust me, I've got the accent to prove it.
And if I'm not mistaken, oldest mainland Australian whiskey distillery, right?
You are not mistaken, absolutely. Consistency and like what Dave has done for the past 23 years, he'll be continuing to do when we move to Kensington as well. Looking forward to so many nice, interesting releases we've got coming up.
Amazing. And what's the favourite of the show today?
Oh, the cask strength piece. It's 60.3%, but it drinks at 35%. It's very dangerous, but I'll definitely be walking away with a few bottles tonight for as well.
Amazing, mate. I will come by a little bit later to try myself, but thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Cheers, man.
So I'm here with Fred from 78 Degrees and Adelaide Distillery. Welcome, mate.
Thanks. How are you?
I'm very good, mate. This is a wonderful turnout, but tell us a little bit about the distillery and the whiskey.
Right, so I guess at 78 Degrees, we really had three things that we set out to do. The first one was to make a whiskey that was uniquely Australian and not an imitation of anyone else's style. Second one was to put something on the shelf at a pretty reasonable price point so that it could be accessible to your sort of everyday consumer. And the third one was to make something that was as sustainable as possible from the ground up. So yeah, a lot of those choices have really made a big impact on the way that we make our whiskey. So what we've done is we've taken unmalted South Australian local barley, combined that with a few different specialty brewers malts for complexity, distilled and fermented all on grain, which gives you some really cool sort of secondary characteristics, and then matured that in South Australian red wine casks. And yeah, the result is this guy, 78 Degrees Australian Whisky, really bright, brassy, complex, flavorful, works really well in cocktails, and yeah, really uniquely Australian flavor profile.
Can I get a wee sample, please?
Of course you can.
What's ABV?
44% on that one. Yeah, so pretty easy drinking.
Cheers, mate.
Salud.
It tastes Aussie. Like there's eucalyptus, there's a bit of gumdrops, there's something there that's uniquely Aussie. You're nodding, I'm sure you're getting the feedback all day, but mate, this is congratulations to this. What a wonderful whiskey.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. Really glad you're enjoying it. And thanks for having us today. Hey.
So I'm here with Michael from Adelaide Distillery, Cut Hill. Welcome, mate.
Thank you. Thanks for having us, and huge event.
Massive, massive event. Sold out, 400 people, 30 distilleries, 100 whiskies. It's going gangbusters. But tell us a little bit about your whiskey, Cut Hill.
Oh, look, we're absolutely brand new, so we've still got the new car smell. Been selling in the business for 5 months now. 3 products that we've got, which is pretty amazing. Been received really well. Got a wine cask, fortified cask, and a mead cask. So 3 simple SKUs. Getting them in the glass is the best thing because we really want to build a brand and talking to the people about it. And these are the whiskey lovers by the sounds of it. Everyone's here to have a good time, but they want to find what they like. So I don't think popularity is on one certain product or distillery. Everyone just is here to appreciate what everyone's got to bring to the table.
Yeah, great to hear. And have you got a favourite?
Oh, look, I got a sessioning whiskey, which is probably our wine cask, which is our entry, which is Shiraz cask, and then a bit of a finish with a fortified cask, which was ex-bourbon. But there's a special occasional one, which is our mead. So that's the kind of the digestive, the wagyu steak of what we do, which I call it, which is just a nice little tipple and something different for the taste buds. So something for people to talk about for sure.
Can I please try this mead because it sounds delicious?
Yeah. Have you got it? There we go.
I come prepared. This is the best part of the job. You walk around, they tell you about this amazing product, and walking away would be a crime. Mate, phenomenal.
That was a good pause, yeah?
That was phenomenal, mate. Rarely does a whiskey stop me in my track to make me thinking, I'm enjoying this one. Well done. I'm gonna take a bit of time with it, but congratulations. What's the ABV?
48% on that one, so nothing cask strength in our range at this point in time. Everything's 43 to 48. But it's a long lingerer, we hope. You're kind of walking and talking and you can still taste it for a few minutes.
Yeah, you can wave the finish goodbye. All right, thanks. Lovely to meet you, and thanks for coming to the show.
Thanks so much. We'd love to come again for sure. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Scott Fitzsimons of Ned Whisky, Victorian Distilleries. Scotty, welcome, mate.
Mate, what a time to be alive. How much fun is this? I mean, we've been at so many shows together over the years and, been involved with running a few of them. Never, ever have we been able to have all Australian, distilleries. And I think the most important thing is just the breadth of flavours we have. Like, I can go to Cut Hill over there, Clara, Iniquity, I've got Tim Boone there and Morris, and then Ned here. And you don't need anything else. You can, have the world of flavours just there, let alone the other 400 distilleries we've got today. Mate, genius. When do I get my go?
Mate, now. I bumped into Bill Lark. I said, summarise, he had one tear in his eye. He said, this is amazing, just to see the rising tide, as he calls it, the whole industry here. But tell us a little bit about Ned. In 30 seconds, what's the big spiel? Why should we be jumping on Ned?
Mate, Australian whiskey, Australian grains, made in a bourbon style. We want to be the everyday. We want to be the whiskey that for $60 you can drink day in, day out. Mix it with cola, mix it with ginger ale, mix it with Dr. Pepper or Kool-Aid if you want. It's meant to be fun. I'm totally aware. You and I both worked in this industry for a little while. It costs a lot of money to make whiskey in this country, and that needs to be passed on. We can hopefully blow the doors off this thing. I want to stand next to Twofold and Symphony and Dugard and sub $80 whiskies in New York, London and Paris in the next 5 years and build the Australian brand and bring the really niche $300 bottles with us. There is such a great opportunity here. And mate, I love it. I had probably a choice to go in a few different directions. I am so happy I'm here with Ned, and the future is going to be so fucking bright, mate.
Mate, I'm so happy to hear it. Ned, I can only see Ned going from, strength to strength. I was going to ask, I've never tried a Ned before. Ingenuity.
So just by sheer who we are, we do get put alongside some certain American brands, and certain American brands, they charcoal filter and that sort of stuff. So people come to us and say, what do you filter this through? Charcoal? I was like, well, not really. So we go, okay, what can we do? So with the ingenuity, we broke down some of our old barrels. We're only using once or twice into blocks rather than chips. Feel like the literal harvest from barrel into tank, in between, oak blocks, split staves, that sort of things. We might even write a little bit of a white paper on it. Not me, people who know more about this than I do. But to really just bring out the flavour of Ned, 46%, it's basically the classic on steroids. I think it's worked brilliantly. I'd be very surprised if and hopefully we're not recording this, but if in the future, if we release a next tier of Ned, perhaps, if we don't take some very good learnings from this 2,000 bottle run into the future, because I reckon it's been very good today, but it's also one of my favourites.
Mate, I've been looking so forward to try it. That gives any single cask here a run for its money.
And in Australian whiskey, I love the single cask we've tried. I love single malts. I love we've done all that sort of stuff. That's great. We can't take over the world with single casks, right? So I think one of the freedoms I've had with working with Ned is flavour. Whether there's 500 or 50,000 bottles of it, and one day we will get to 50,000 bottles, hopefully, it doesn't matter what it looks like, where it came from. Is it good? Let's work back from that. Flavour first, and we can work back. So, mate, yeah, excited. Good to hear.
Mate, that is a flavour bomb, full of flavour. Just want to say cheers.
Cheers.
Mate,
Drink
thank
to
you.
be happy.
Thanks for coming to the show, mate.
Wouldn't be anywhere else. Wouldn't be anywhere else.
So I'm here with Victorian Distillery, Morris. Johnny, mate, welcome to the Aussie Show.
Thanks, Ollie. It's how amazing is this? Look at the people here. Look at the representation here. Even just the energy in the room is just amazing. So much great feedback from consumers, people from international. I just spoke with some people who have come over from New Zealand, You know, it is truly phenomenal how far we've come. Seen Billy Lark wandering around the place, of course. We all love a chat with Bill. But yeah, a really wonderful day.
Amazing to hear. Energy is electric.
Yeah.
It's, crazy how much people have just fallen in love with Aussie whiskey. We weren't sure Sunday afternoon session, midday, post-COVID, people will Melbourne and the globe turn out. And yeah, we have had some international travellers come in, but Morris, that's why we're here today. Tell us about your whiskey, which launched last year and has been very, very popular.
Yes, seems to have been pretty well received. I mean, the consumer will always, they'll be the ultimate judge. I think deliberately we wanted to put a whiskey in a market that was accessible for people across the spectrum of buyer, that was in between that, $90 to $140, area. So, in that window that sees a lot of people buying whiskey, not all of us can afford, really, really high-end stuff. So that was always the plan. There's a lot of resource there. I think the ability with Morris is that we control our cask program, and we're not having to outsource casks. We've got the benefit of some really strong wineries in South Australia that we draw from. We're using French and American oak barriques, shaving them, recharring them to medium toast. That's our primary maturation. We're then finishing in, Morris's vast kind of library of fortified casks that are not just, varying in style and base variety. They're also, varying in age. There's everything from 6 years to 100-year, casks there. So, it's enormously exciting. We're sourcing our own barley locally. Our water's coming off the Snowies through the Victorian Riverland. And we've just reunited the two stills that were built in 1910 by Whitehall and Adelaide. We've renamed the new one, which we found in a backyard in Adelaide in bits, if you will. And we've renamed that Cinderella, and of course the original one, Aurora. So both of those are reunited, both built the same time, as I said, in 1910, and it's kind of another nice piece of heritage, another nice tick. We'll have a visitor centre finished, I think, sometime by the end of the year, so we're looking forward to that, and everybody and anybody's going to be welcome to come and see us.
Mate, I can't wait to come. Can I try the muscat you got right there?
Yep. Give you a little bit extra. You're a seasoned professional.
ABV?
46. Yeah, 46 ABV. Obviously our signature serve, which is the one on your right here, or your left. The signature is a lower ABV. What we really tried to do was deliver a whiskey with our signature that was broad palate appeal. And with our muscat barrel, it's obviously exclusively muscat barrel finish. You're looking at barrels that have held muscat for between 6 and say 20 years. And we're tapping into Morris's real heritage there. They're very famous, as is Rutherglen, I guess, broadly for liqueur muscat. You're seeing some nice marzipan you should be picking up. There should be some nice fruits, raisins soaked in brandy. 46 ABV tends to give it a little bit more weight on the palate, a little bit more drive through your finish as well. So yeah, no one seems to be able to decide which is their favourite, but I would just say just keep trying both until you find one, if you like.
I've tried the signature a few times. I love that it reminds me of the old Speyside style, but having just come back to that, there's a lot of fortified finished whiskies, a lot of single casks, and they usually, I'll say this, they feel them maybe a little bit too wet. The balance between the fortified and the whiskey, you can still taste the whiskey. And I think that you guys should be congratulated on that, because that to me is a sign of a really good whiskey. You're not trying to hide behind the flavour, you're trying to make it work together, and that's a success story right here.
Look, to your point, Ollie, you're spot on. I mean, you referenced Speyside there. I think, with Darren's background, he's made whiskey on every continent except Antarctica, which I don't think anyone else yet.
One day.
It'll happen, yeah. He worked extensively with Diageo before this and vastly experienced, I guess, through Speyside and the Highlands. I think the real the real target was to make a whiskey, whilst we knew we couldn't be mature in years in terms of maturation, we felt we could be mature in style and bring something that found that balance a little bit aligned with, some people have even referenced, Tom and Tool, some people have referenced, Longmorn to me. And I love hearing that because that for me really tells us that we're making a style of whiskey that is, we're not trying to make a Scottish whiskey, we're not Scottish. We're putting an Australian influence on a structure or whiskey stylistically and delivering it at a really, really nice price point and hopefully with jam-packed full of flavour, which I hope you agree with.
Hey, full of flavour. Always a pleasure to chat to you guys. I love your whiskey. I've tried it a couple of times before. This muscat, yeah. Bee's knees, mate. Congrats again, and we'll see you at the next show, hopefully.
Can't wait to come back, Ollie. It's been a great day again, and thanks to you and David for putting together such a really wonderful, impactful, interesting, fun show. We love it. I don't mind giving up a Sunday for this.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Johnny. I'm here with Matt from Starwood, Victorian Distillery, the Victorian Distillery, everyone knows them. Michelin star as well, big in the States, big in the UK. But Matt, tell us about your epic whiskey today, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Ollie. Starwood, we're known for maturing our whiskey in Australian wine casks, most notably red wine barrels, but we do play around with a few different varieties. Our core range is the twofold, Nova, Fortis, and the Solera. All on tasting at the moment. We've got a few sort of under the table whiskies as well. We're pouring the Octaves at the moment, and we got our Tawny No. 2, one of our latest projects released as well, which is tasting pretty delicious.
Awesome. I might sneak back for one of those under the table pours a bit later.
Always come around. Absolutely.
Yeah. Great to have you here, mate. Thanks.
Cheers. Thanks, Ol.
So I'm here today with the Godfather of Australian Whisky himself, Mr. Bill Lark. One very quick question, mate. What do you think of today?
I've nearly got a tear in the eye looking around and seeing an all-Australian whisky show. It really does mean an awful lot to me after 30 years, and to see the people enjoying Australian whisky. I love it. I'm having a great time, and thank you so much.
It's so good, mate. Cheers. Thanks for coming today. I'm here with Chief Sun Distillery from rural Victoria. Got Naomi on my side here, and we're just about to try one of their whiskies. But Naomi, tell us a little bit about your distillery and this whiskey.
Yeah, so Chief Sun Distillery, owned by Stuart and myself, but based on the Mornington Peninsula down in Somerville, so not far from where we are today here at Albert Park. So today we've got our cask expression whiskey. This is a great collaboration between ourselves and Mornington Peninsula Brewery. We put their Russian Imperial Stout into one of our barrels and then finished off our whiskey in there. So this whiskey for me is it is a celebration of Mornington Peninsula. You get that whiskey flavour running through this whiskey, but with that stout flavour going through. So I like, the geekiness in me loves the collaboration of the malts that are in this. So you've got your brown malts, your pale malt, and a bit of peaty malt as well.
I was just about to say, I had no idea what she was about to pour me, so I was, glass in front, try it. On the nose, amazing Aussie whiskey through and through, but then I was surprised to get a stout cask. I was expecting, Tawny or some fortified or something, and then it's surprise. So I think this is my first stout today. Yes. It's delicious.
It is. This one actually won Australia's Best Small Batch Spirit at the recent Australian Distillers Spirits Awards. So
congratulations, yeah. That's a huge one.
It is absolutely huge. We're so stoked to have taken that out. So yeah.
So well, let's cheers to that.
Yes, thank you. Great to see you again, Oliver. And also I want to do a shout out to the Whisky List and this awesome show today, like with 400 people and celebrating all the great things about Australian whisky.
Thank you so much. So lovely to see you again, and enjoy the whiskey, and please make your way around and try some others as well. So.
Absolutely will. Thank you. Great. Nice.
So I'm here with Vic from Iniquity, a South Australian distillery. Vic, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure being here. I'm sort of talked out, but I'll do my best. I'm getting a bit hoarse.
Well, Ian's left you to do all the hard work today.
Well, that's nothing new. He leaves me to do the mashes as well. While he plays on the computer.
Tell us very, very quickly a little bit about Iniquity. What do you guys do? What's interesting?
Well, we try to make whiskies really different from other whiskies by incorporating different styles of barrels. So we don't so much spend a lot of time with particularly the grains that we mash, but we really emphasise barrel management. So in other words, if we find something in a cask that we think is going a little bit astray, we might pull that out and finish it off in a bourbon cask, or let it mature in a Chardonnay cask for a couple of years. So we base our whiskies on that, and through that sort of process, it's been a really good learning curve into finding what happens in barrels, in heat, and in small casks and in large casks. So for us, that works. It's always a work in progress. I've almost given names to all my barrels because I've visited them so often. So it's something that you know, try and spit, and that's been the success of our company, I guess.
Huge success. Have you got the rum cask here?
As you can see, it's the rum cask. It's been very well received today. Very well received. People are very commenting on, very commendable about the different styles of things they can taste in the whiskey, which is great. Because we're not necessarily better, but it's different and it's good.
I'm here with Paul from Tria Prima, South Australian Distillery. First whisky show. Paul, welcome, mate.
Thank you very much. Yeah, my first whisky show. We've got our first release, and very happy with feedback so far.
Mate, excellent to hear. Some delicious looking whiskies, very cool bottle designs. I know you're busy, very busy stand. I'll leave you to it, but just wanted to say, what's your favourite whiskey today?
My favourite, I think, has to be Enchantress Tria Prima, which is matured in a McWilliams sherry cask. It's like Christmas cake in a glass. Love it.
Christmas cake in a glass. I love that. That's a fantastic tasting note. Paul, thanks again. Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
I'm here with Peter Bignell, Tassie distiller, alchemist, recycles everything, reuses everything. This guy is the Willy Wonka of whiskey. We love him to bits, but Pete, welcome to the Whisky Show.
Yeah, no, thanks very much. Been a great show so far. Great, yes.
What's been popular today?
I think, well, we just look at the bottles here. This one here, the oat whiskey. There's, yeah, very few oat whiskies made in the world. I think the Irish are just starting, the craft distillers over there in Ireland are just starting to make oat whiskies.
What is an oat whiskey? Like the 10-second definition.
Well, the main grain is oats. So basically I make a 2,000 litre vat of porridge in the morning. That's where it starts from. We gradually turn it into whiskey.
2,000 litre vat of porridge. Mate, your house must smell so good.
The distillery, it is, yes. It does. It smells, on the second day, that stuff smells so lovely. Yeah.
I'm just trying it now. This goes down the gullet so easily, like it's dangerously drinkable. Mate, success. I love this whiskey. Congrats on the show, and thanks for making it down.
Yep, no, thank you very much for running the show. It's been fantastic. Good.
I'm here with Tasmanian Distillery, Kalara Whisky. Nicole is representing the stand today. Christy's busy working elsewhere right now, but Nicole, tell us a little bit about Kalara.
A little bit about Kalara. So it is soon to be paddock to bottle. Right now it is 100% Tasmanian barley. So beautifully small batched, tawny cask, Shiraz cask, natural cask strength focus. The favourite that we've actually had today, hands down, has been the tawny cask at 52.5%. A lot of the punters are loving it.
Can I get a little wee sample, please?
I've actually going to give you a sample of Shiraz, a 61. It is my favourite.
Say that one more time.
The Shiraz cask finish, which is 61%, and it's my personal favourite.
61% for a whiskey, hell yeah.
Let's knock the socks on.
This is what I love about whiskey shows. You think you've tried every whiskey, and then Nicole comes around the corner and surprises you with this, it's sweet, it's spicy, it's Moorish. I love it. It's delicious.
It's fruit loaf with a lot of butter. It's got peppery heat. It's just beautiful. Yeah. And super well balanced for 61%. Am I right?
It's dangerously drinkable. That is my, like, there's so many whiskies here today, but at 61% dangerously drinkable, that's the summary for this one. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time today.
Cool. Thank you.
I'm here with Eloise from Heliers Road, one of the oldest Tasmanian distilleries, one of the oldest Australian distilleries, winner of dozens of awards. But here today we are to talk about their whiskey. Eloise, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, great to have you here. I see you've got a bottle down there. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the sherry cask?
Yeah, so the sherry cask has been a very popular pick today. A little bit polarising with some people, but it's 7 years matured in Spanish Oloroso sherry casks, and that really brings out a very interesting flavour in the whiskey that we've put in. However, it's probably not the one I should be talking to you about.
All right, go on, grab the other one. That bottle is empty. When they say popular and then they show you a bottle that's empty, that means like they're not pouring it on the ground. People are wanting and drinking it, so very popular whiskey. But tell us about this one.
Okay, so this is our 12-year-old single malt, triple distilled and aged in American oak, and this has just been declared Australia's best single malt whiskey at the World Whisky Awards in London.
Clap, clap, clap. World's best single malt whiskey.
No, Australia's best single malt whiskey.
Sorry. Australia's best single malt whiskey at the World Whisky Awards in London. That is a global competition. There's so many entries to that, and to be picked as number one, that's phenomenal. Congratulations.
Thank you. We have been so proud and so happy. Thank you so much. Yes.
Well, thank you for your time today, and congrats to the show and the whiskey. And
thank you.
I'm here with Tom today. Brand new Aussie distillery, Northern Tasmania. Tom, tell us a little bit about you guys.
So Furno Distillery, we're over on Flinders Island, which is about halfway between Melbourne and Tasmania in the middle of Bass Strait. Tiny little island, about 60 kilometres from top to bottom, only about 900 people that live there. Mainly cows and crayfish, and now a whiskey distillery for the first time ever. So we've been over there for about 2.5 years now. And our whole reason for being is that Flinders Island has naturally occurring peat on the east coast of the island. So that was the moment where we realised if it's got peat, then we can make whiskey. So we started to dig up the peat and have a bit of a sample and a test, and it took us a while to figure out the right kind, but then we eventually found one that we could use to impart a really intrinsically Tasmanian smoky flavour in our whiskey.
I love a peated whiskey. Can I sneak a wee sample, please?
Oh, mate, of course.
Oh, he's cracking a freshie for me.
Crack a freshie, you get the neck pour on. So this one is the first of the releases that I distilled when I moved over there in 2019. So it is just over 2 years old, matured in ex-bourbon casks, 100% Flinders peated spirit. So peated, but not necessarily smack you in the face smoky. It's more about the earthiness, the back palate, the sort of aromatics that come from soil that is composed of Tasmanian native things like tea trees and melaleucas and that sort of thing. Oh yeah, liquid fudge. Love it.
Liquid fudge. When peated whiskey is a polarizing category of whiskey. Some people love smoky whiskey. Our cameraman told me earlier on, he doesn't like whiskey that's peated. But that's each to their own. No right faults. He's shaking the camera there. But I just wanted to say, this is a game changer. I think this is like blending, people will go, I don't like a peated whiskey. You got to try this. And this might bring people into the category as well. It's so accessible. It's full of flavour. It's mellow. It's got, liquid fudge. I love it, man. And it's a neck pour, so it's only going to get better, right?
That's right, yeah. It's great. We've got the opportunity here to have a spectrum of spirit. So we've got an opportunity to create some peated whiskies that are really full on, you know, anything to rival the spirits in Isla. But then we also have some that are a bit more like a gateway peat. And approval by the cameraman, I love it.
Right. That's the most important critic here today, and we won his approval. So congrats on the launch, and thank you for coming by.
That's my pleasure. Good to be here.
Cheers, mate. I'm here with Zaki at the Australian Whisky Show. Australian Whisky lover.
Yes, I am.
Welcome, mate.
Beautiful show. Thank you very much for organizing it. Fantastic. After COVID, we had a great time. Everyone behaved themselves and fantastic selection. Thank you very much.
And what's your favorite today so far?
The Lark was very good. There was one whiskey at Lark. We loved it. Beautiful. And the other one, Killara.
Killara and Lark. You know that Killara is the daughter of Bill Lark.
I did not know that. There you go. Thank you.
So she was very quick history. When Bill Lark started his distillery at Lark, they were distilling in like the hallway of their living room. Right. She grew up around the distillery, did her trade in it, became the general manager of Lark, and then when Lark was sold to the public company, now they're a much more bigger company. She's now started her own distillery. So she's Australia's first second generation and 100% female-owned distillery. And she's making some amazing whiskey, but she's probably one of the most experienced distillers in Australia because her dad and her mum, who, did a lot of, Lynn Lark, did all the gin as well. Amazing family and the brother as well. Jack Lark's just started his own distillery. So it's insane, but I'm glad to hear that you like both Lark and Killara.
I didn't know that. Her distillery, they make the whiskeys in 20-liter barrels, tiny barrels. Superb taste, wonderful stuff. Really loved it.
Thanks for coming to the show. Cheers, mate.
Thank you very much.
I'm here with Melbourne legend, Seb. Runs his own bottle shop, but, he sells, drinks, buys, sells again, Aussie whiskey, left, right and centre. What are your thoughts on today, mate?
Awesome turnout. I mean, look how busy it is. First impressions, that's just lots of stuff to try, lots of good exposure for, little Aussie distilleries that normally people wouldn't try. It's just growing the whole Aussie whiskey category in general. So it's awesome, yeah.
That's awesome. And quick wrap, where you from, website?
The Drink Society. Check us out.
.com.au?
That's right, yeah.
All right, thanks for your time, mate. Good to see you.
It is a pleasure to be here. I've been coming to the Whisky Show for, I reckon, about 5 or 6 years. I've loved the American shows. I've loved the Scotch shows. And it is so amazing to see an Australian whisky show for the first time ever here in Australia. You've got Australian whisky drinkers finally being able to sample their own country's craft. And I reckon they're loving every single bit of it. So it's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Mate, I'm very happy to hear that, but there's so many Victorian distilleries here. Like, we're in Melbourne, of course, like we're going to be Victorian represented, but everyone says Tassie owns Aussie whiskey. That's not the case anymore.
Absolutely not. So I'm a fan of rye whiskey, and Solera Rye, which is over in the corner behind me. Gospel, correct. They have their single cask here tonight, and it has changed my attitude to Australian rye whiskey. I've bought a bottle. I'm probably going to buy 2, but it is absolutely amazing. And I reckon I've just been over to the bottle shop myself and seen how much isn't available for sale. It shows you that the demand for Australian whiskey is pretty high.
It's going crazy, mate. We told all the distillers, bring a few cases. Other whiskey shows, people buy at the end of the show. 2 minutes after the show opened, people were buying bottles, and not just 1 or 2, they were buying like 3 or 4 at once. So, they know there are a lot of limited expressions here. The demand is high. It's so great to see just the Aussie whiskey being like represented and drunk and enjoyed.
But I think that's the trick, right? Which is Australian whiskey shouldn't be a novelty. It should be something that everyone gets to enjoy. Now, there's a lot of barriers as to why that's the case, but Australian whiskey drinkers want to drink Australian whiskey, and I think you know, a room like this, 500 odd people, 400 odd people drinking Australian whiskey shows this, which is, you know, we've got to do something about getting that price down to make it a bit more affordable for everyone. So they're not walking away with one bottle, they're walking away with 2 or 3. I think that's the trick.
Mate, great words. Couldn't have summed it up myself, but thanks for your time today and enjoy the whiskey today, mate. Cheers.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, mate.
Launceston Distillery, Tasmanian. I'm here with Dave, representing today. Mate, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Love it.
Tell us a little bit about your whiskey.
Our whiskey, very traditional. We're considered very traditional across Tassie, where you've got everything from New World craziness through to traditional. But we like to follow the Scottish method. So we do everything on site ourselves. So from the grain right through to the final packaging, we do it all there. So all the mash is done on site, all the brewing, all the fermentation, distillation, cask aging, all there. So we're down next to the airport, so anyone can come visit us, get off the plane, 5 minutes you're in our front door. You see everything from that starting process right through to the end, all done there. So it's all about learning the traditional styles that we like to follow.
A true craft distillery, hand in hand, everything is, nothing automated.
Nothing. Our building's so old, we're not even allowed to have plumbing. So the guys have to literally use clamp over piping, little pumps on trolleys to move liquid around when they need to do it. So it's very hands-on still. So
I'm very disappointed in myself. I've visited a lot of Aussie and Tassie distilleries in my time. I've never made my way to Launceston yet, but I will be in Hobart at the end of April, and I have to make some time to come see you guys.
100%. I'll be there in Hobart with you, of course, and we'll all drive back up and into the hangar. That way we can get some whiskey on.
Thanks for your time, mate. Lovely to see you.
Thanks for having me. Back to pouring whiskey.
I'm here with Tasmanian independent bottlers. Phil's representing Remnant today. Phil, welcome to the show.
It's great to be here.
Tell us a little bit about this Remnant. There's a big story behind it, and there's an exciting story about this bottle as well. But what's Remnant?
Remnant is what remains of the Nant disaster. We stepped up and bought about 300 barrels off the investors that were left in the lurch, with the aim of bringing it to market because the whiskey was so good that it deserved to find an audience, which it's done over the last 2 years. And we're really pleased with the way it's going. And from the comments we've got today, so are most of the punters.
Amazing, mate. It's a great story of Aussie courage. You've taken something from nothing, rebuilt it, given back a little bit to the community, at the same time making great whiskey.
Yeah, look, there's a bit of altruism in it, but it was also fairly pragmatic that, we felt that, one, the investors deserved a better result, but two, the whiskey really needed to see the light of day. And it also gave us an immediate brand, because you imagine if you had 50,000 bottles of whiskey and you didn't have to sink any infrastructure costs into it, was a pretty good business decision too. So it cuts both ways, but we've also tried to build on that with a brand that is going to be consistently high quality at a reasonable price. So we're trying to set a standard for that amongst the Tasmanian whiskies, and we think we're going pretty well to that aim. And we're really pleased to have been associated with you guys. This is one of the limited releases we did for you. The sun's out, guns out, and it's got a great audience today as well. So we're doing what we can with our great friends in the retail area and with our great friends in your end of the business, and we're really enjoying ourselves doing it. So it's all good fun.
We've done a few bottlings with Remnant. First one was called Virus and Vaccine. It was a community naming competition. Very popular whiskey. We did a follow-up called The Lockdown. And then Omicron came, and we're a little bit over this whole negativity. So we said, well, let's make the fourth release a little bit more uplifting. So what Aussies love, cricket, beach, and we bottled this for Boxing Day last year. Sun's out, guns out. Our little Tassie Devil is representing in the label. He's got his hat on, he's got the surf in the background, he's got his sunnies, but it's such a great whiskey. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I agree. And it warms me up a bit because it's the only one I actually got to vat myself. I actually, everybody else I think had gone away for Christmas. So I took a few samples to the experts and said, okay, you can only pick one. And they picked this one, and I hadn't tasted it since the vatting today, and I had to go today, and it's a really, really good whiskey, so I'm quite pleased with that. And a number of the punters have said the same thing. So, you know, I might retire, you know, 1-0.
Oh, no, we're going to come back for more, but mate, congratulations. I really love this whiskey. It's almost fully sold out, but cheers, mate.
Yeah, thanks. I've got one open here.
All right, we're gonna open one. Why not? Here we go.
I better share one with you.
He's the sharing man. Thank you. We're gonna salute to this.
So here's to us. Here's to us.
Thanks for your time, mate.
Cheers.
The Tasmanian Distillery, Australia's oldest one. They started it all. We had a chat with Bill Lark earlier on, but this is the guy who actually makes all the whiskey in modern day Lark. So introductions to Chris Thompson here. Chris.
Hi everyone.
Mate, welcome to the Aussie Whisky Show. What's going on with Lark? What are you guys pouring today?
Everything exciting is happening at Lark today, or at the moment. So we've got some really, really cool whiskey. So classic cask, most people should know, and Symphony, I hope lots of people know. But today we're actually pouring some really, really innovative, cool stuff. So we got our Christmas cask, fruit mince pie finish, and also our Kyoto release. This is a cask strength version. So we make our own Kyoto season casks, finish it in there, and I think last year's got a 95 World Whisky Awards, and it seems to be what people want to talk to me about. So I'm pumped about this whiskey. It's bloody delicious.
Any chance of getting a wee sample?
Yeah, let's have one. You have a glass? You do?
Yeah, I do. I've come prepared.
I've come prepared. Yeah. Right.
All right. So I'm going to nose it and try it, and if you can give us the specs, ABV, what inspired you to make it, what is it?
It's a long story. It's a long story.
Oh, the 30-second wrap.
All right, so one of the reasons why we like to make really progressive whiskies, as well as our sort of what we call anchor point whiskies, like pretty traditional, like our sherry's our classic cask, is because we like to extend what whiskey can be. So when I started all those years ago, 15 years ticked the other day, yeah, it was like this pretty uninspiring scene. It was the same stuff that kept getting rattled out every time. Scotch was what it was, and it was about the water and the Providence, and that's all we bloody heard about. And then it started to break down because Tassie started doing really well. Australian whiskey was going really well, and New World whiskies, Cavalan started coming along. Sullivan's won that award, and it started to break down this conversation. And when we first were there, like 15 years ago, you know, as a 20-year-old, it wasn't a very welcoming place. And if you were female, God forbid, it was a really hard place to be. And as what this notion of water and Providence being the only way to make whiskey started to break down, or only way to make good whiskey started to break down, so did that culture. And so the industry became more and more welcoming. The culture became more and more welcome. To now we have, you know, you go to our e-com, 50-50 buyers, male, female. You go to a tasting, 50-50, and it's so much fun and it's so much welcome. I just think it comes from extending what people believe is even possible in whiskey. And I love that, challenging that notion. And I think Kyoto does it more than any other whiskey that we've ever produced, as well as being bloody delicious. So this is 60%. Like any other whiskey I've ever had?
Mate, I'm very surprised. It's sweet, but the 60% isn't there.
Yeah.
It just doesn't talk to you. Like it drinks like a 30 or a 40, like it's sweeps under the rug. But second and third sip, there's so much, like the complexity is there, man. It's a well job done.
So I think everyone comes here being skeptical, and then they try it, and they're like, you look around the room, everyone's walking around with this whiskey. And to be honest, we were like, it only happened because I was tasting some whiskey about a year before we even came up with the idea with this guy, and he's like, oh, I've been making like some liqueurs. I made this thing, like this Kyoto syrup. Do you want to try it? And then a year after that, we were ordering through our whiskey, tasting whiskey by whiskey by whiskey, and then bam, it just like popped in my head. That has to go with that. And then I called him up and we argued about what it was. He was like, no, it was this. And I was like, no, I think it was this. And eventually we set on this Kinoto. And basically, by chance, it all popped in your head and bam, wham, out comes this whiskey. And yeah, it seems like everyone's lost their mind over it. So it's pretty cool.
This is a celebration dram. It works so well, but cheers to that. I just want to say, my favorite thing about today is you get to meet the makers. Like this guy probably flew up this morning, probably rolled a few barrels or checked his heart cut, you know. Mate, it's a busy job for you guys, but it's great to actually be in front of the punters and getting the feedback. And you know, you're behind the scenes so much of it, and then you know, getting some FaceTime with actually people who enjoy Aussie whiskey and the feedback, right?
Oh, it's the best. I love the way you say it's like I work, but I don't. I've got the best job in the world. All I do is taste whiskey all day and hang out with people like yourself. Where we drink.
You got to do a little bit.
Oh no. They keep me away from the paperwork now, so I'm not good at it. And but yeah, this is like the best. Like it's 2 years since seeing so many of these faces, and like you look around the room and everyone's like, this is what whiskey's about. It's about having fun with people, social. It's a community more than a drink. And yeah, it's just the best. I don't know. It's pretty good.
I love it, mate. You heard it from one of the most experienced distillers in the industry. Chris, thanks for your time, mate, and cheers to that.
Oh, cheers. See you guys. Bye.
Australian Whisky, Tasmanian distillery. I've been a fan of these guys. These are my first Australian whiskey that I fell in love with. I visited the distillery on my first Tasmanian trip, fell in love with it. We're not going to hear about the boring details. We're here about to talk about the future about Overeem. And I've got Jane Overeem next to me here with a special preview that's going to be released later this year, the musket cask. But I'm going to hand over to Jane to tell us a little bit about it. Welcome, Jane.
Hey, Oliver, thank you. Yeah, so we've been showcasing our musket cask tonight. It's actually, it's a special whiskey where we've married our port and sherry 5-year-old whiskies, and we've finished it in a musket cask for a further 3 years. So the port and sherry cask that we've married together were already fully matured at 5 years, and then finished in musket for 3. So this was a beautiful big 500 litre Langmeal ex-musket cask. So yeah, pretty happy with the result tonight. I think everyone that's tried it said they love it. It's got a really beautiful spicy finish. But you know, an 8-year-old whiskey with that second maceration's been fun to showcase.
What's ABV, sorry?
48.5, yeah.
Can I try some, please?
Okay, let's go. Yeah, I just actually had one, otherwise I'd have one with you.
So many good whiskeys today, but I've been really looking forward to this.
You got to tell me what you think now. And you can't just say you like it because I'm standing here. You actually need to tell me. We're releasing this one in May, by the way.
Online?
Yeah, online and wholesale. Yeah, as well. So
I'm not the biggest fan. Wait. Let me finish.
Of musket?
Of fortifieds.
Okay.
But this is fucking delicious. And I'm sorry for swearing. I've tried my very best today, and a few distillers have, but we got to the end of the show. There's been 30 distillers. I think you're 31 that we're seeing today right now. What a whiskey to finish on. This, sensational. Illegal. Put it away. Don't drink it. It's terrible. The whiskey list will acquire it all, and we won't talk about it ever again.
It'll be like the next Flock Shots release.
So
It'll be
good.
gone in minutes. Yeah.
Well done on this.
Thanks, Oliver.
How long's this been in the making?
Well, we actually, when we got Overeem Distillery back, this was one of the casks that Lark put together. So they thought it would be great. So they actually were the ones that got the musket cask, and then they did the marrying and that. So it's been in the making for, 8 years, but it's been at Overeem since we got it back for the last just over a year now.
Amazing. One last question.
Yep.
David Ligoff texted me, who runs the Whisky Show. Amazing guy, puts on a phenomenal show. Texted me a photo, reminding me that 12 years ago, he ran his first whisky show, and 2 Australian distilleries popped in the door, completely unknown to the world. the punters, the drinkers, they didn't know about it. And one of them was over him, and Casey, Jane's father here, pioneered the industry. So it's amazing that 12 years later, you're back at the first Australian Whisky Show. What are your thoughts on like being just part of the category and like seeing only Aussies at a show, which is I think pretty cool.
Oh, so cool. I mean, like for 31 in here tonight, yeah, it's so good because we used to be nestled in amongst all the Scottish, all the other brands, and now we're here with our fellow whiskey makers, and oh yeah, it's awesome. It's really awesome to see how it's grown in such a short amount of time. Absolutely stoked. And I will just add, the quality of the whiskey is great. We've had a lot of people coming to the table tonight just saying that every show that they've been going to, the quality of the whiskey has been getting better and better. So that's a really great thing to hear, and I'm super excited about that.
And cheaper. Aussie whiskey is getting cheaper. Year on year, the price per litre is getting cheaper. We're tracking it, and people say it's inaccessible. Come to the Whisky Show, enjoy, try these whiskies. They are phenomenal, amazing flavour. I can see good mate in the background here is trying to rile me up. But, you know, we're here to have a laugh, have a smile. That's the Aussie larrikins in us. But, Jane, thank you so much for today. Hopefully see you at the rest of we're part of the Australian Distillers Association conference here.
Yeah.
But congratulations, and looking forward to trying the musket retail release later in the year. The Australian Whisky Show, the very first, the inaugural Australian Whisky Show. These two gentlemen next to me have been pinnacle to making it happen. David Ligoff, who runs the Whisky Show. David, very quick words. What are your thoughts on today?
I think it's been absolutely fantastic. Firstly, all of the distillers, it's been like a high school reunion. They're so excited to see each other for the first time in a long time in real life. It's been brilliant, just the atmosphere, even before we started, just a buzz about it. And then the people, the punters. It's a lot of them haven't been to a proper whiskey show. This is the biggest whiskey show of any kind in Australia for 2.5 years. The last time was our show in August 2019. Everybody's had a lot of fun. They've enjoyed the whiskies. There's been some amazing experiences, some new whiskies that people never even had on their radar before, and it's fantastic.
Amazing. Last drinks have been called. I know you're a very busy man. I'll let you get back to it. But thanks for putting on this amazing show for everyone today, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thanks, Ali.
So good to be here and with David and all of the wonderful Australian distillers. So excited to be part of it, to host it parallel to the Australian Distillers Annual Conference. We've also got a few hundred people next door and getting ready to register, but also making sure, encouraging our Australian whisky producers to be here en masse and really showcase what the industry has to offer. So thank you for celebrating that and supporting that and enabling the consumer experience to actually see what is world-leading whiskey made right here and at accessible flavour points and price points that just mean that the industry is going to be all up.
We've had a few themes today. Aussie whiskey is getting punchier in flavour, big flavour bombs. It's getting cheaper, more accessible, but my favourite aspect is the community. You get to meet the maker. We've been on and on and on about it today. Don't worry about like Scotland, USA, like these are the people flown in from Tasmania, South Australia, WA, and they're the ones who are putting the barrels down, and then they're telling you the story about it. And each whiskey has a story, and we're celebrating it. And as an industry, Bill Lark, you missed it before we interviewed him, he had a tear in his eye because he said, I would have never imagined when I started 30 years ago, so many Aussie distillers together, but like, this is the next generation. He said, it's not about me, it's about everyone in the room here, and this is what we're celebrating, which to me is, this is the win.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. This Bill, when he first learned how to make whiskey, was taught by someone who said, we'll teach you, but your job is to go and teach others. And he has personified that notion that here is what I do, this is what you need to do, because he knows that they're going to do it differently. They got different water, different grains, different processes, different barrels, and the provenance is changed. The temperature, the climate, everything makes it different. So you'll have a beautiful product made in like lime burners in WA and Cam Slimes here today. Compare that to a whiskey made, even if they use the same ingredients and recipe, made in down in Launceston or Devonport, it's a completely different product. And that's the amazing thing about it, because they know that, and they'll support each other and will teach each other and then celebrate it. So thank you for you also enabling and unlocking that journey as well.
Mate, great words. Very busy man, I'll let you get back to it, but first Australian Whisky Show, let's bigger and better next year, right?
Absolutely, well done. And you can just see by the excitement here, last drinks were called ages ago and people are still getting a little bit more. So it's a really great opportunity. We look forward to the support that you provide the association. The partnership together means that this will be something that we'll be doing bigger and better year on year.
I'm here with Eva from representing Spring Bay Distillery. Amazing Tasmanian whiskey. I love these guys, but they couldn't make it right now, so they've sent the next best thing to rep the whiskey today.
Oh, thanks.
Can you give us a very quick highlights of the feedback today at the show?
The big fan favourite has been the Reuben, which is their port cask at 58%, so it's all barrel cask strength. This has been, like, I speak to a lot of bartenders. It's always been the top 5 new whiskies out at the moment, and we're just so glad to be able to share it with the audience here today. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you at the next show.
Yeah, cool. You too.
I'm here with Adam himself of Adams and Adams Distillery. Is it plural, as I've learned today? They've been around for a while, Tasmanian whiskey. Phenomenal whiskey. They've won some World Whiskey Awards, but today we're celebrating their recent releases. So Adam, tell us about your whiskey today.
Yeah, well, today we brought our mainstay, so our signature series. Then we brought 4 new releases, so a couple of Pinots, a sherry and a port cask, which have all been very well received. Yeah, so a few things, a few little tricks out of the bag. Yeah, so it's been yeah, a bit of a whirlwind. I haven't done a whiskey show myself for quite a while. We've got some new staff which sort of do all that for us now. So yeah, it's been fantastic. Very tiring, but great. Yeah, a lot of good people. But
it's good. It's a good problem to have staff that are required to do your shows. But you make the whiskey. You get to see the feedback, the real-time feedback from the punters, the drinkers, the whiskey lovers today. What has been the feedback? Is there any interesting feedback there?
Yeah, probably the biggest thing's been a bit of a technical one, that our cask strength has been incredibly smooth. So we do our sort of, I know a lot of people know, a lot of people don't, but we do our sort of a half-full, full format cask. So, you know, our big barrels, so we half fill and we flip them over all the time. We call them our sosh casks. And that's been our biggest feedback, that our cask strength whiskey drinks very, very smooth. So it's a technical thing. And of course, you know, the colour of the whiskey is very, very dark. And we get that because we get twice the extraction out of the barrels.
You got a bottle here?
Yeah. So yeah, just like incredibly sort of dark whiskey. I mean, that's a 5-year-old Pinot Noir barrel. Yeah, insanely dark.
It's I've never seen colour like this in whiskey before, but mate, the people are loving it.
Yeah.
And whiskey's not all about colour; it's about, you know, the flavour as well. And I imagine this is a massive flavour bomb.
It is. I mean, that's a 61.2% Pinot Noir. We had a couple of people come back and said that's been their whiskey of the day. So it'd be interesting to see how it went at the shop. We've had our sign up with the QR code as well, and we've had some little feedback forms that we had done up for today, just to sort of see what people you know, say about what we've done. So it's been a great little experiment. You know, first whiskey show in a long time. Can't wait to see how we go in Hobart. All in all, it's just been a whirlwind, but absolutely fantastic. So really looking forward to it.
Amazing, mate. And we'll see you in about a month's time down in Hobart. Cheers.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
Representing Archie Rose, Paul, welcome, mate.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Mate, it's so good to see you. It's been a few years, but tell us a little bit about Archie Rose.
Yeah, well, firstly, it's good to be back in person. You know, real life events. It's such a breath of fresh air. I know you know a little bit about Archie Rose. I'll go through it very quickly. So we're a Sydney-based distillery. Rosebery is where we set up back in 2014. Second site now out at Banks Meadow. Today's all about whiskey, but of course we make You know, we make vodka, we make gin, we make rum. We have a crack at a lot of things. We have a lot of fun doing it. So things are going really well, and people seem to be really enjoying the wares today.
I'm so excited to hear that, and I'm looking at this bottle. Is this a new release?
Yeah. Look, something a little special here. So what we've done here, we've made a single mold.
Yeah.
And one of the molds out of the 5 that are in the mash bill is smoked with red gum. So it's done the traditional way, as in through the malting process, not with a dry grain. So it's kind of an Australian representation of a smoky whiskey. Leave the peat to the Scots, they do that. We're trying to interpret that for a way that's kind of more relevant to what we're doing here. It's been a hit. It's like, we are inundated, everyone's loving it. You should try it.
Someone stole my glass, but I will come back very soon with my own glass and I'll try. But Paul, congratulations on today. It's such a popular stand. Always a pleasure. Good to see you, mate, and we'll see you at the next whiskey show.
Thank you. It's such a good show. Thank you for putting it together. We'll be back.
The Whiskey Show. We have an amazing pop-up bar today. Very first time we're doing it. These legends from the Elysium Whiskey Bar, one of the best bars, not only in Melbourne, but all around Australia. They've like a crazy amount of whiskey, but they've come in today to celebrate Australian whiskey. And we've only got Australian whiskey behind the bar here, but we've got Kelvin on my left and Yao on my right, and we're about to say hello to both of them. But first question, guys. What has been the favorite pick of the bar today, Kelvin?
Man, it's got to be your Sullivan's Cove, man. Amazing. This one here. This was a fresh bottle when we opened this.
Tell me, what do you mean Sullivan's Cove? What is it?
This was a special bottling done for the oak barrel quite a number of years ago. And at $54 for a half nib, you know, people are keen to try it. We sold that much today.
People love the Sullivan's Cove. They're
good liquid and rare bottle. That's what this bar is about, right?
Exactly. Yao, if you were to pick one whiskey behind the bar today as one people should try if they ever see it at any bar, what would you go for?
Oh, I go for the Mad Maxine. Because the bottle we did have pouring at our bar back a couple years ago, that didn't last long, and it was like so nice to have another bottle open. So delicious. Some real good juice. If you're into like the rich stuff, this is as rich as it gets.
It's a bit notorious. Not many left in the world. Any facts about this whiskey? How old is it? Maybe where it's come from?
Oh, notable South Australian distillery that we don't name. Obviously, it's got more than 10 years on it. Yeah, crazy people bottled it. Yeah. Also fun that it was in port cask and then finished in sherry. Oh, sorry, not sherry.
Secrets.
Secret.
It's a secret bottling that.
You might know how many bottles are left out in the wild.
That's the first one I've seen closed in like 4 years. Like if you find a bottle at a bar or auction, whatever, like grab it, jump on it. It is one of the pinnacles of Australian whiskey. There's something magical in that whiskey, done by wonderful people behind the scenes, and they just did it because they enjoyed whiskey. They bought a cask, they decided to bottle it, and they've remained anonymous because of it, and that's kind of the.
That's pretty cool, man. And it's great liquid, honestly. So well balanced.
Final words, maybe a summary of where Australian whiskey is at.
Man, we've come a long way, to be honest, you know. Tasting so many whiskeys tonight as well. Man, the quality has come up a lot. Well done, putting such a good show together.
Quality has improved, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely, but it's also kind of fun to have a snapshot of the past with the bottlings that we have today, and then comparing against what of the new releases are coming out. You can see the trajectory of where Australian whiskey is going, and it's very positive. Yeah.
These guys pour whiskey for a living. They see the history of the whiskey changing and getting better and better. So when these guys say the quality is improved, you know, this is where it's at. Australian whiskey is getting better and better. If you haven't had an Australian whiskey before, come to the Whiskey Show, visit the Elysium, go to any bottle shop, pick up an Aussie bottle, try it. Like it's different whiskey and it's really enjoying, it's full of flavor. And hopefully today's snapshot will give you a bit of insight into some amazing whiskey that's yet to be poured and enjoyed. What a show. 400 plus people, 30 Australian distillers, 100 different whiskies to try. We've met the makers, we've talked about everything that's amazing about the industry. It's incredibly innovative. We've got people taking selfies in the background here. You've got the bottle shop behind me. What a show. We can't wait to celebrate Australian whiskey with you next year. From Oliver at the Whisky List, David Legoff at the Whisky Show, and everyone involved through this, our partners, Paul from the Australian Distillers Association, massive thank you, and we'll see you at the next show next year. Thank you.